say something. Uh, it may be painting or it may be language. Medium doesn't become barrier for him in that sense. So, I mean, if you look at language through this perspective, as a medium, rather than through language trying to look at different mediums, I think there is a vast difference. So, I mean, when you stand at a point where everything becomes a medium, then probably you can skip and jump between any two given mediums. And
yeah, I think again that's where I would say that we were fortunate being artists that visual art has tried to encompass, include everything, like Ranade writing over the painting. So their word as a word, and word is indicating that there is a picture play. That illusion is totally destroyed, created in painting. So it worked in two ways, and that's where again I feel, I may be very, very biased and subjective, but studying art had this kind of advantage that it tried to touch upon many things. It questions nature of human experience, like pigment as a pigment as a pen color to create illusion, like Van Gogh or Kokoschka or even Jackson Pollock. Yeah, so it's a material aspect treated as material, and it's its part in creating final artwork. So I think visual art has probed in several directions, and each art student had to really understand that on its own, and that I think that was a great exercise. Because I don't know, but I think similarly, playwrights or actors, they should talk about what is body language and what is delivery of dialogue. Because I tried to ask many theatre people, and surprisingly, of course, there could be many other reasons also, that when they come to the gallery, they try to ask what is the meaning of this, why you have put plastic like this. I mean that literal sense, they cannot get rid of it easily. So that's a major obstruction, hurdle for other people to understand art, visual art. Because visual art has tried to probe in various directions and tried to sort of assimilate it into its own area or whatever premise. So what do you think?
Well, I think that always doing so many things has always been introduced so long. So at one point it would be look at painting for its pigment and another for the illusion it gives. I mean, when you're looking at perspective painting, you do look at paint, but then you're looking at the depth and the content.
So basically, many times, if the person understands what could be his concern, immediate concern, then that's a better entry point. Like in the case of Ranade, I don't remember that artwork, but this is a pipe, something of that sort. So futility of over-emphasizing or something of that sort. If one understands this concern, then probably he will be able to understand what could be the intention of the artist. Even sometimes what my observation has been that maybe in the West, there's even science display and visual art, these things have come so close. Like I remember having seen one display on theory of probability, and it was in some science and technology museum, and it almost looked like conceptual art. what was there, there was something like funnel, and in the center there was a wall. In that funnel there were some black balls, rubber balls, and a few white. And there were on the lower side there were two compartments. So that ball would fall on the wall, and as I put it, would fall into this compartment or that. And that proportion of black and white was probability. So I thought that it's almost like conceptual work. So even display. Now display designer has really worked out how to explain this very complex theory of probability. And what he had arrived at was visually very interesting, and at the same time it made you to really understand more that working of the sculpture or working of the display as well as that theory. So this is how I think there is input even in visual art from all the sides, like science and technology, that has contributed a lot to visual art. And I think artists have been really free to really incorporate so-called unconventional material into their art. That has been, but again, to some extent, this representational aspect and material. Like, another thing I find that constancy of painting. That is one more thing which, I think makes your very complexness. Okay, I will understand it later because it's going to be there. So this constancy is because of this physicality. So on one hand it's a handicap, but on other hand, like there was one piece where artists felt that the canvas is not merely a passive surface which receives artist's imagination, but that object itself. So they painted it differently. So they have tried various aspects. Yeah. So I think they have tried various aspects of visual experience and made a part of their subject, their art.
Well, when the example what you gave about this scientific show that you saw, where it almost looks like a form in a painting or maybe an installation in itself. I guess your process has kind of worked, in a reverse order where, and as you also said, that art has always had the advantage of encompassing many things in its own periphery. So similarly, these things, in science or, in different mediums, they always existed. But we started looking them as art objects or as visuals with the growing grammar of the visual language. It is now when we look at it and we find that this can be art. And that is, I guess, also the reason of, what we were talking about, new media coming into art, is because of the growing grammar of visual arts.
And I think even there is a basic, from very early stage, that artists have to be very open. So that has worked well. I think that literally artists or art students negotiate whether I'm not understanding that art form or it's not good. So it's never conclusive, that's not a good work. So he negotiates. Maybe I have not understood. In next visit or maybe after talking to Shreyas, I will understand what he wants to do. So that has opened up a lot of possibilities. And it has grown,